I may not have gotten to go to E3 like a lot of you guys because I am super poor, but thanks to Best Buy, I did get to check out one of the demos that they were showing at E3, which was the Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 demo. What were my thoughts? Let's find out. So first things first, I gotta state with the disclaimer that I didn't get too terribly long to play it. I think I got maybe about 5 or 6 minutes on the game before, I had to let somebody else play it. And I wasn't allowed to record any video of it. I actually asked the Nintendo rep and she told me no, so I didn't want to risk anything or risk this video getting, taken down or asked to be taken down by Nintendo. So I'm not going to put any game footage that I played here. I'll see what I can find on the internet and give credit where credit's due. That being said, I did get to talk to the Nintendo rep about a lot of the things going on with the game, and I also did just really quickly, when I got into the car, put a lot of my thoughts on video just so that I would have them. So here are those thoughts. Hey guys, so I know this is kind of crappy quality. I'm just taking this on my iPad in my car. I just got done with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 demo that they had here at Best Buy today from 12 to 5. I got in kind of early, so I was able to, get done with it pretty quick here, but I just wanted to give some first impressions on it while it was still in my mind. I'll talk more about it once I'm back home and get a little bit more professional of a video going on here. The Nintendo rep wouldn't let me take any gameplay of it, wouldn't let me film any of it. I didn't want to try to be sneaky or anything because I didn't want to have my video revoked by Nintendo, but I got to play a little bit of it. A couple of thoughts on it was that the part that I got to play was a lot of top-down gameplay. I hear that the camera angles, get to change. The Nintendo rep actually was under the impression that whoever's in first player, because we were playing in a 4-player mode with 4 people who were there, so we can all demo it at the same time on one screen. She was under the impression that the first player has control of the camera. And if we didn't want it to be top-down, it could have been moved so that it wasn't top down, but I didn't, but the first person who was in charge of first didn't really seem to have a good understanding of that. And so I didn't get to experience that, but the entire gameplay that I got was top down. And when it came down to it, it got a little confusing with 4 people on the screen. It was very rambunctious, and in the sense that I actually lost where I was many times. I was playing as Deadpool at first. Then we got to a certain point and 2 of the people had to leave, so I actually got to check out Captain Marvel and Thor as well. And each character plays completely different. Even though you're playing just with the Y and the X, and that's your standard attacks, each character has a little bit more weight or a little less weight if somebody's a little bit more speedy than others. So for instance, Deadpool and Captain Marvel were a lot more speedy than Thor, who was swinging around this giant hammer, who, it felt like there was heft behind that. So they did a really good job with that mechanic, at least. The other thing that I noticed was I did learn how to do Captain Marvel's special move. I don't know if it was her ultimate move or anything like that. But when I was doing that, I noticed the animation would drop just a little bit. There wasn't really any frame rate drops as far as the actual gameplay goes, but when it came down to the special moves, I could see a frame rate dip as the game tried to catch up with what characters were hit by it and whatnot. It's nothing too big, and they got a month to kind of fix it and update it, but whatever. The other thing that I really noticed that I wasn't particularly fond of was just some of the button combinations felt a little awkward and a little confusing. The Nintendo rep was trying to explain to me how to do a synergy move, which is what they call it when you link up with some of the other Marvel people. And granted, I only had maybe 5 minutes. There's a bit of a line forming behind me, but the synergy move, without seeing the button combination and just kind of having it explained to me in a hurry, I wasn't able to quite figure it out, and it sounded a little bit kind of complicated, at least more complicated than it needed to be. So I kind of mainly stuck with my Y and my X and my special move with Captain Marvel. But overall, I think that the game has a lot of promise. I do like all the different characters in there. We got to see some of the Defenders like Jessica Jones and Iron Fist in this demo, and I think that was really cool. And I do like that we were fighting the Hand, it felt a little bit more like they're including the entire Marvel universe, which I mean I know is what these games do. But after the cinematic movies where we don't get all the characters, I'm a big fan of the Netflix Marvel Defenders series, and I'm a big fan of like the X-Men series and all that other stuff. So I mean seeing all these different characters in one game instead of having them kind of separated due to movie studio rights and all that other stuff was really, really cool. I never played any of these Marvel Ultimate Alliance games before, so ultimately I'm really, really excited to see kind of what my first impressions are of this game when I pick it up next month. Yeah, so just to kind of reiterate a couple of the main points, the controls felt solid, but there were a couple times where frame rates would drop during special moves. Graphics were definitely not top end, but they were not bad either. Like, you could definitely see a little fuzziness around the edges of the character models. The worlds looked really good though. Like I said in the car, I only got a top-down view for a long time. Eventually, we were able to switch to kind of more of a side. It wouldn't say necessarily side-scrolling type of way, but kind of that front-facing type of gameplay. So we got a little bit of gameplay like that, and that was pretty fun. I did get to test out 3 different characters, like I said, which was Deadpool, Captain Marvel, and Thor. And each character does play differently. Like I said, I thought it was really cool that Thor's hammer, you could actually almost feel the weight of him swinging that hammer, before you hit the next button, because you can hit there and smash that button, but he's gonna move all the way through his swing before he does the next attack. Whereas I felt like Captain Marvel was light and bouncy almost with her character play. So kind of interesting. I'm really curious like how Spider-Man's going to play, and some of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters are going to play, and some of the Marvel characters are going to play. But yeah, ultimately, they got about a month till this game comes out. I feel like with this demo, they're pretty well done with what they want to get done. So I'm not sure how much some of these things are going to be proved by the time of launch, but I really do hope that they kind of mess around a little bit more with the camera angle aspect of it. I get why they're doing just the first person in control of the camera, but I could see if you're playing with your friends and you really want to kind of look a certain way, why that would be an issue, and so maybe they really just need to look at maybe doing a split screen, almost like what Lego does, where when you get a certain amount of space away, you go ahead and you split the screen so you can explore that way. I actually think that would help for a couple different reasons, because one thing I didn't mention was that when I couldn't find where I was, because it did become a little chaotic there. I was playing as Deadpool and I accidentally was going the wrong way because I was trying to like just figure out where my character was, while the other people just were moving up the map, and I actually got stuck behind a corner, and it took about 5 or 10 seconds before I was finally respawned back where the group was. And so for a second there I just couldn't move. And so if they did that like Lego split screen thing where one person can go off and explore on their own, I think that would work a lot better than what they're trying to do right here with just one person being in control of the camera. Again, I don't think that's going to be something that they necessarily fix at time of launch. I highly doubt it, but I could see it coming in a future update. The frame rate drop with the special moves is honestly, it doesn't feel like it's anything too big. It doesn't feel like it should be there. So I'm wondering if that will be fixed with a patch coming out. Because like I said, when Captain Marvel did her little explosion move, the animation was nothing big. You got like this little glowing light around you, and it blew a couple of the characters back, but it's like it didn't keep up with that. It dropped a couple frames when it did that. And I think for the demo to be doing that this close to the launch is kind of worrisome. And, it's not something that I think is necessarily going to impact gameplay to the point where you should not buy the game. I think it'll still be a very enjoyable game, but it is something to be, just aware of, that when you do some of those special moves, some of the things with a little bit more added effects into it, it's going to kind of bog down the game just a little bit, and then it'll kick back up to whatever frame rate it's locked at. I think this one is supposed to be 60 frames, but don't quote me on that. Even after encountering some of the problems I encountered, I do think that it's still going to be worth your money to pick up, especially because, like I said before, Nintendo looks like they're planning to add more additional content to this in the future, and I'm really excited to see, what they're coming out with. I mean, maybe we just get the one DLC pack and they're done with it, but, the fact they're starting off with a DLC pack makes me think that they got some plans to support this in the future. But let me know down in the comments down below, Are you planning to pick up Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3? And if so, what are you looking forward to or hoping that they do with the game? As always, if you like this video, hit that like button down below. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe because I think we're only 2 subscribers away from hitting 700. All right, guys, until the next video, we'll see you then.